In 2002, a press in Mumbai printed Chhatrapati Shivaji Bhosle's birthday according to Gregorian calendar. Karl Nirnay had been printing almanacs since 1973, but in 2002, for the first time, they faced the ire of their patrons. Angry protests and letters were addressed to Sumangal Press. The people of Maharashtra, always touchy about anything Shivaji, had taken umbrage.
Shivaji's birthday is Shiva Jayanti, and it's a very prime day in culture of Maharashtra. And one school of thought, the Panchang school of thought, old school of thought, was giving it by a tithi. In the meanwhile, when Vilasrao Deshmukh was chief minister and one Mr. More was cultural minister, they came up with the idea that instead of fighting it over two tithis, the English date, 19th of February, is confirmed by the British records. So let us give it by as per the British records, a Gregorian date or English date of 19th of February. Then the Pandit said no, and the debate was on that we will not give it by English date but by our own Kala Ganana, the measurement of time. And then Shiv Sena took that stand, RSS took that stand, Bhajapa took that stand, the right wing rather, I should be doing this. And the Marathas, the rulers and the masses they represent, they said we want it by date, English date. And state wins. And see, we at Karl Nirnay, we are neutral people. We are not going to take side of anybody. So we give it as both. We give it Tithi, saying that Tithi Pramane, and by English date saying Sarkari Tarke Pramane. But the controversy was big, and since Vilasrao Deshmukh was handling the affairs, it was no violence took place at that time. There was unrest in the society, and people were coming here in mobs and telling us do this and do that. Babasaheb Purandare had taken one position. Then Gajanand Rao Mahindra, another historian, he took another position. But finally, we decided what the government decides. We are not government. We are publishers. And holidays are decided by central government.
The state of Maharashtra officially marks February 19th each year as the annual public holiday of Shivaji Jayanti. But there are many in Maharashtra who would prefer to celebrate the occasion on the third day of Fagun as per the Hindu calendar.
Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj ki Jai Bhavani Shivaji Hara 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 Hara.
In 2018, that would be 18th of February, one day before the official holiday marking the 388th birth anniversary of the greatest king that Maharashtra had ever known, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj.
Some revere him as the greatest icon of Hindutva, while some call him as a real champion of the downtrodden. The left, right or seculars, everyone has interpreted Shivaji as per their own political convenience. Almost 4 centuries after his existence, he still continues to dominate the state's politics. We try to find out what makes the Maratha warrior king so indispensable for Maharashtra's politics.
The legacy of Shivaji is paramount in Maharashtra. Every political party and faction tries to appropriate Shivaji for the sake of its own legitimacy. The Marathas claim Shivaji to be theirs, and leaders like S.P. Chavan and Sharad Pawar built their strongholds by marshalling Maratha votes. Bal Thackeray, though not a Maratha himself, appropriated Shivaji in building up his political outfit, the Shiv Sena, named after 17th century king. To the cauldron has been added the Dalit equation, where the Mahars say that Shivaji was one of theirs.
हमारा रेस का कौन हीरो बन गया, और अगर वो रेस का हीरो है तो हम उसको कंधे पे लेके आगे जाएंगे. अगर आपने पूरे देश में देखा तो आपको ऐसे ही 18 सदी के 19वीं सदी के जो कुछ लीडर थे, नेता थे, उनको लेके आज राजनीति चल रही है। तो जो आम लोगों के जो सवाल जो है, जैसे कि एजुकेशन है, बेरोजगारी है, महंगा है, उस पर पॉलिटिक्स के वजह है। ये पॉलिटिक्स इजी है ना।
4 centuries after Shivaji and 7 decades after independence, Maharashtra still depends on Shivaji Bhosle for the granting of political legitimacy. But there's another factor to politics in this state. This is the role of the Peshwa, of the Brahmin, of upper caste control over the seat of power, a rigid dichotomy of de jure and de facto that arose with the death of Shivaji.
This is the place on Fort Raigad where Shivaji was coronated as Chhatrapati or the sovereign king. And this episode also marks one of the most important episodes of frictions between the Brahmin and Marathas. Upper caste priests had refused to coronate Shivaji as king, citing his low caste origins. Shivaji then had to approach Gaga Bhatt from Varanasi to do the rituals.
As long as Shivaji lived and ruled, the Peshwa was his prime minister. But with the death of Shivaji and his son Shambhaji soon after, power concentrated on the Peshwa, who ruled in the name of a largely symbolic Chhatrapati. Parallel is drawn in contemporary times as well, when Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, a Brahmin, is seen to rule based on the Maratha backing and votes that the BJP and its allies got riding the saffron wave of 2014.
मी देवेंद्र गंगाधरराव फडणवीस ईश्वर साक्ष शपथ घेतो की कायद्याद्वारे स्थापित झाले आहे अशा भारतीय संविधानाबद्दल मी खरी श्रद्धा व निष्ठा बाळगीन. मी भारताची सार्वभौमता व एकात्मता उन्नत राखीन. मी महाराष्ट्र राज्याचा मुख्यमंत्री म्हणून माझी कामे निष्ठापूर्वक व शुद्ध बुद्धीने पार पाडीन.
Immediately after the BJP government led by Fadnavis came to power, it presented the state's highest award, the Maharashtra Bhushan Award, to the man considered as Shivaji's bard, or Shiv Sahir Balwant Moreshwar Purandare, popularly known as Baba Sahib Purandare. The anti-Brahmin outfit Sambhaji Brigade demanded that the Maharashtra government revoke its decision because Purandare's works twisted facts about Shivaji and were divisive in nature. The Sambhaji Brigade champions Maratha causes, and it first hogged headlines when the Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute was vandalized in 2004.
In 2004, the Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute in Pune was vandalized by a mob belonging to the Sambhaji Brigade. They alleged that American researcher James Lane, who completed his research in this institute, portrayed Shivaji and his mother Jizabai in bad light. The book was subsequently banned by the Congress and NCP government in Maharashtra, but it went on to become an emotive election issue, riding on which the Congress and NCP came back to power.
In his 2003 book, Hindu King in Islamic India, the author Lane had mentioned an oral joke claimed to be from the times of Shivaji. The ribald yarn was about Shivaji's tutor also being his biological father. In November 2003, 5 Maharashtra historians and 1 BJP MP petitioned the publishers to withdraw the book. On December 22, 2003, co-author and translator of a previous Lane book, Epic of Shivaji, S.S. Bahulkar in Pune was attacked by a group allegedly associated with the Shiv Sena. Bahulkar's face was blackened. A few days later, James W. Lane's apology to anyone whose sentiments had been hurt was printed in several newspapers in India and abroad. And on 5th of January 2004, Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute was vandalized. On 9th of January, a case was registered against Lane for offending India's national pride, and 6 days later, the Congress NCP government of Maharashtra banned the book. 2 months later, extradition proceedings were initiated against James W. Lane.
आई बायको ताना मुलगा कुटुंब होते छोटेसे आणि सोबत होती हिरा नावत्या तडफदार घरवाळीचे. हिरा सांज सकाळी दूध घेऊन जात असे गडावरी. चालत होती उपजीविका त्या लेकीच्या धंद्यावरती. एके दिवशी हिरा क्षणभर विसावली. त्यानी नाही अलत कधी तिच्या, कधी ती सांजवेळ टलून गेली. सूर्यदेवता मावळता झाले गडाचे दरवाजे बंद. हिरा मनात भ्याली. हिरा म्हणाली घरी ताण बाल माझ. हात जोडून करी विनवणी गडकरी खाली जाऊ द्या मला. गडकरी म्हणतात आज्ञा नाही शिवरायांची आम्हाला.
जय 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 शिवाजी.
शिवाजी महाराज की
It is all about Maratha pride. Politicians and politics have not just for decades, but for centuries been trying to use that pride to control the power equations in the land of Shivaji. The Maratha account for some 33% of the population in Maharashtra, the largest single bloc if religion is not taken into account. 700 years ago, the term Maratha applied to anybody from the Marathi-speaking regions of India. But within the next 200 years, the term came to mean Marathi-speaking regiments in various military brigades of the Islamic kingdoms of the Deccan. These military units were drawn from the agriculture sector, so Maratha qualified as Maratha Kumbhis or Maratha cultivators. Under Shivaji, the term assumed a regional as well as an occupational designation associated with a power seen both as the tiller as well as the defender of the land. On 9th of August 2017, the 58th Silent March organized by the Maratha Kranti Morcha ended on a happy note when it was announced that Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis had accepted all their demands. The main demand had been reservation for Marathas in Maharashtra. But there were other demands as well, like the scrapping of SC and ST, Prevention of Atrocities Act, and death penalty for the 3 Dalit youth alleged to have raped and murdered a teenage Maratha girl in Kopardi village of Ahmednagar district. The Maratha Dalit feud surfaced again on the first day of 2018 at a village on the outskirts of Pune and spread like wildfire across Maharashtra. Every year on the 1st of January, Dalit communities from across Maharashtra make the pilgrimage to Bhima-Koregaon to visit a 60-foot memorial that marks the 1818 victory of an East India Company regiment over a Maratha army. It was in 1927 that Dr. Ambedkar had turned the relatively unknown site of Bhima-Koregaon into a pilgrimage point for Dalit assertions. 1st of January 2018 marked the 200th year of a battle that continues to resonate, the caste and class context, as alive in today's politics as in the composition of the opposing sides from 2 centuries ago.
Amar rahe, Baba Sahab, Amar rahe.
The company regiment was made up of mainly Mahar soldiers, while the Maratha army was that of the Peshwa. The Mahars are today's Dalits, the Marathas are the tiller soldiers, and the Peshwa is the Brahmin overlord. While Ambedkar pointed to Dalit pride, a lecture in 1987 by Govind Pansare spoke about how Shivaji was really a champion of the lower castes. The speech by Pansare was later developed into a book, Shivaji Kaun Hota. reiterating forcefully the role of Shivaji as the protector of Dalits and oppressed classes, disputing the Chhatrapati's role as a champion of Hindus.
Descriptions of Shivaji Maharaj were given, and these were evolved as myths among the psyche of Marathi people mostly. So one of the most important myth was he was like Go Brahman Pratipalak. Comrade Pansare first time, I think in a very simple manner with historical data and references, he could establish that Shivaji Maharaj in that particular framework of time was not just a protector of Hinduism, he was a ruler, and during that time he had a secular as well as a very good, kind, compassionate administrator during that time. So this interpretation of Shivaji, I think, is very important because this color of religious conflict was, I think, removed by Comrade Pansare.
Comrade Pansare's little book has been translated into several languages and sold thousands of copies. But Hindutva right-wing groups had even sent death threats to the author. On 16th of February 2015, in Kolhapur, 2 men on a motorcycle shot at Govind Pansare and his wife from close range. 4 days later, the author of Who is Shivaji succumbed to his injuries. With every political grouping in Maharashtra laying claim to his legacy, the irony is that the blood descendants of Shivaji failed to become politically relevant. Like everything else about the first Maratha king, 4 centuries down history, even the royal descendants of Shivaji are now identified according to 2 erstwhile princely states. One of them being Kolhapur, from where Sambhaji Raje has become a Rajya Sabha MP propped up by the BJP. This descendant of Shivaji firmly believes in the secular image of his famous predecessor.
By and large was the Hinduist Rajya. And Hindu Rajya is not only who are Hindus. Yes, it was for Hindus, but at the same time, maybe of many other religions also, people have stayed under the banner. You take Shivaji Maharaj's first naval commander was a Muslim. There were various people of various religions, various castes working for him. There are various people who have given their lives. A person called Shiva Kashid was not a Maratha, but he gave his life for Shivaji Maharaj. So these are various examples which again need to be brought out, told to the people. Yes, he was a Hindu king, but he was against the intruders, not against the people staying in his Maratha kingdom, which was from Delhi to Jinji.
In March 2017, the Maharashtra government announced that they wanted to raise the height of the proposed Shivaji Memorial from 192 meters to 210 meters to make it the world's tallest statue. The Shivaji Memorial to come up in sea off Mumbai will be built at an estimated cost of 4,000 crore rupees. An acceptable price for an icon who continues to resonate in the way politics plays out in Maharashtra.
छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज यानी घोड़ा तलवार युद्ध लड़ाई विजय यहां तक सीमित नहीं है। वे पराक्रमी थे, वीर थे, पुरुषार्थी थे, हम सबकी प्रेरणा है। लेकिन साथ साथ अब कल्पना तो कीजिए, जैसे राम जी ने छोटे छोटे लोगों की सेना बनाई, मानव सेना बनाई और बड़ा ही लड़ाई जीत ली। कितना बड़ा संगठन का कौशल्य था। छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ने भी छोटे छोटे किसान मावड़े उनको साथ लिया, उनको प्रशिक्षित किया और युद्ध के लिए तैयार किया कितने बड़े संग्राम शास्त्र का कौशल्य छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ने प्रस्तुत किया।
Marathas claim him as the great Maratha. Hindutva forces project him as the protector of cows and Brahmins. Dalits hail him as the king of the downtrodden. It does not matter who he really was. In Maharashtra, what matters is who he is shown as having been. Because political power is still legitimized in the name of a medieval king who lived almost 400 years ago.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.